Very nice. Showing that you're a little more modern than I am, I have a piece of paper and you had yours. I'd like to start by commenting on how tolerant my mother was of all of our boyish behaviors. Most of you would know there are 5 boys in our family. I'm sure we were a handful and then some. But Mother not only tolerated us, but all our friends, and made them all welcome as well as us in our homes. And it was great. One memory I had thinking this morning about my mother was all the trips to the ER that she and I took. And those of you who have male children probably can equate to that. I specifically remember one where I chased one of the other guests here, Harry Kurtz, out our back door, and Harry slammed the door on me, and I went like this, and with the glass on my wrist. And Mother took a look at it and said, "Here, wrap it with this. You're all right. I'm going to change my clothes." And then we went to the ER. When the ER is old hat to you, you know, that's what you do. Another thing that I'd like to thank my mother for and comment on is her passing to me of what I call the Carefoot gene. Mother's family, both her siblings and her father, were gamblers. And not just in the sense of playing cards, although that was included, but in how they lived their lives. Her father was a wildcatter for oil, had a carload of grain delivered to him when he forgot to sell his grain futures. Just did those kind of things. Margaret, who's here, our cousin's father, was what I called a serial entrepreneur last night. He had a ski resort, he had a mining company, he had all kinds of different businesses, and that is sort of rampant on the Carefoot side of the family, and I'm glad I got a piece of that. Mother was a gamester. At home we played, as I was growing up, poker once a week. And it was a biggie, you know. There might be no comment on it, and we'd be going, "Hey, when's the game going to start? When's the game going to start?" And it was for pennies. It was not that you would win or lose any amount of money, it was just that you got to play. And that was something we did every week, and something that Paul and I continue by going to Las Vegas every year now to play in the World Series of poker. So the stakes have increased, but the action is still the same. Another thing that my mother passed on to me with the cards in general was bridge. She taught me how to play bridge. Going to school, I played bridge for money. It was one of my jobs. And she taught me well enough that I was at least ahead. I got my butt kicked sometimes, but overall made money. And today I continue to play, and on Sunday nights I play online with my brother Brian, who's not able to be with us today, who lives in Jamaica. So that's something that bonds our family in a fashion. I remember from when I was maybe 10, each year Mother would take Brian and I to the Tiger ball game. It was my exposure, my live exposure to the Detroit Tigers. And those were great trips, lots of fun. And even today, living in Texas, I'm still a Tiger fan. Something else that was really a reflection of my father's respect and love for my mother was our weekly cleanups at home. Mother taught Sunday school after we had all gone to our own Sunday school, and Dad would take us home, and we each had a job. You had to empty the wastebasket, you had to vacuum, you had to dust, you had to do this, you had to do that. And by the time Mother got home, the house was clean. It might not have been sanitary, but it was clean. And then the family tradition was we'd have snacks. While we were doing all this work, my father would make little crackers with bacon toasted on them and other things, and you got a little reward, sort of the Pavlov approach to doing this kind of stuff. But it was also an acknowledgement by us of the amount of work Mother did for all of us, the effort that was required to take care of us, and so we gave a little back each Sunday by policing the joint. Another thing that Mother and I did that was unique to the two of us was we went around, let me start over. Each week I would read the Grosse Pointe News. We lived in Grosse Pointe from when I was 6 to when I was 14. And I would read the Grosse Pointe News as soon as it came out, looking for want ads for trains for sale. I was an avid model railroader. And then I go, Mom, here's one, let's go. And we'd call the folks up and go over, and if it was something that would fit into our collection, Mother would buy it for me. And the prices then were a lot less than they are now. And by the time we were done with our model railroad, we had 100 cars, 8 or 9 engines and enough track to set up all over our house. And it was a sense of, or a source of great pleasure to my brother Brian and I, but it was also very rewarding for Mother and I to go on these expeditions to buy the trains. Each Saturday, she would loan me $100. And I'd go to the local bank and buy $100 worth of coins. And then sort those coins looking for ones of any value. So out of $100, you might, if you were lucky, find 50 cents worth of collectible coins. And I collected those, and that was one of my first business activities. Then I'd go to school to the coin club and sell them. The other guys were too lazy to do that. But it was a source of income for me when I was 10 or 11 years old. Another of Mother's interests that she passed on to me, I don't know if it was genetically or through her own activities, was her fascination with the stock market. Mother was a fiendish investor who spent a lot of time each week studying the market, determining which way it was going to go, and actually was quite successful at it over the years. It's why she still has a legacy today, because she made enough money to support herself through her entire life. And it's something I have an interest and a fascination with. I just hope that over time I can achieve the same level of success that she did. I tend to go more like this. But the real things that were important about Mother were her personality, her being, how she treated other people. She taught me through her actions how to interact with people, how to show respect for your fellow human beings, just how to be, I hope, a good person. Certainly she was, and I hope I acquired some of that from her. Most of all, she was a loving and supportive mother and a wonderful example to all of us. I'd like to take just a minute too and thank the people both from Grand Haven who've done a wonderful job over the last years of Mother's life supporting her, taking care of her, seeing to her needs, and just being her friends. Thank you. And also to the people from Home Instead who came and spent time with Mother and who also enriched her life, but just saw that she had even more company than is normally provided here. To all of you, thanks very much for coming.